Hi guys, it's Joseph here. I'm really sorry I didn't make a video last week. I was really busy. There's some big things happening in my life at the moment, so there'll be more updates on that kind of thing when it's kind of more set in stone. But last Friday in particular, I was very lucky and I attended the Symphony of the Goddesses, which is the Legend of Zelda Symphony, and it was absolutely out of this world. It was incredible. I shall leave a link in the description to some of the videos of some of the movements we had from there, and A Link to the Past in particular holds a very special place in my heart. And so if you can excuse my slight sniffling and blubbering in the background and my partner's whistling in some of the videos, there's actually some really beautiful music there, you know, if you can find it. So I hope you really enjoy those. But the main reason I'm making a video today is because I've got confirmation that I'm able to go to Yugioh's UK Nationals this year, which I'm very excited about because I haven't been to a big tournament for years now. And I can show off my paintings there, and I'll probably do a few commissions beforehand. So if you want to send me a message and you're definitely attending UK Nats, then you never know, you send me a message and I might be able to do something for you. But we're also doing a series of videos, me and the group of people I'm going with, on testing, because I have quite a lot of the cards available to me to test with a lot of the decks that are most likely to come up. Speaking of which, then there's going to be quite a few decks, I reckon. You know, it seems like we've got quite a diverse format this time round. I mean, everyone sits there and says that Necroz is the only deck in the format, but it's not. Necroz is very powerful, certainly. There's still a ton of things that you can do in that deck that other decks just can't keep up with. You know, a well-timed Trishula can seal the deal, and Valkyries can apply pressure plays like nothing. But I think that with the release of World Superstars, there should be, you know, quite a bit of contention for first place from Necroz. I've noticed that in a lot of regionals results recently that Satellas and Shadows are doing very well. I mean, it was going to be kind of a given that they were going to start popping up again, given that the Star Seraph monsters had been released, and the heroic challenges, you know, can help in certain regards. It depends. I actually think a heroic Shadow deck could work quite nicely, just because Shekhinaga is such a brilliant silver bullet to so many things. But obviously, most people will go for Star Seraph Shadows. So what I'm talking about right now is what you need to prepare for if you go to UK Nats, or if you're going to any big tournament within the next few weeks. I can tell you what we're going to be videoing, and you know, we'll be showing games sort of up until Nats, hopefully. But I reckon that Necroz is going to be something that you're going to see a lot of. It's just, there's no two ways about it, because the deck is just amazing. Even if it doesn't take top, it will still be played by a lot of the high-end players. Satella Knights with Seraphs, and Shadows with Seraphs, and possibly some rogue variants, like Shadows can still run artifacts very well. Pure Satellas has a much higher control aspect to it than the Satella combo decks do. Well, Satella Seraph combo decks. But, you know, they don't have quite as much sort of explosive power as the Seraph deck that people tend to sort of flock to. Burning Abyss is still a big deal. Burning Abyss has a very good matchup against a lot of the top decks right now. Even with just Tour Guide at 1, it's not that much of a loss for them. They still have a lot of advantage generators. Dante is still a pig, and he's a nightmare to get rid of. Then past that, you've got Cliffort, who, again, the ban list hurt, certainly. You know, I was playing Cliffort up until April, but I decided to change. I actually haven't decided what deck I'm going to play yet, so if you want to sort of give me a few suggestions on what you think would do really well up at UK Nats, then do feel free to leave me a comment or send me a message. That'd be really awesome. Cliffort, anyway, can still do very well, even with just the 1 Sacrifice and 2 Scout. They've tend to sort of lean towards going back to playing Trampolinks a lot more, and there's a lot more control in the deck, where a lot of, you know, because skill drains at 1 as well. So Recreate is a thing. They're running a lot more traps than they used to. Then yeah, they're still very good. I also think that there's a lot of rogue decks that could make an appearance now, and a lot of cards from World Superstars that have kind of flown under people's radar quite a lot that could make a resurgence. I mean, even in Premium Gold, you had the Black Wings. Now, Black Wings tend to rely a little too heavily on Black Whirlwind to generate advantage. Excuse me. But they're still quite good, and their explosive plays are very good. if you've got a Blizzard in your hand and a Black Whirlwind, you can, and a level 4 in your grave, you can make really, really big plays that other decks would like to be able to do too. Volcanics are still very good. They have a lot of weaknesses. Constellar Diamond, if a Trishula goes off while there's a scatter shot in your grave, you've probably lost. Not that you haven't normally lost when a Trishula goes off anyway. But you've also got a lot of capabilities for control, where you can board wipe your opponent in your opponent's turn. There's just nothing wrong with that at all. Being able to scatter shot your opponent in their turn is devastating, and just having that slow burn is awesome. I actually think the Seraphs could make an appearance in that deck to give them a bit more of an explosive play, because it only takes up 6 slots in the deck, and the Volcanic Engine actually doesn't take up a huge number. It takes up a fair amount, but there's still plenty of things that you can do in that deck to make it easier. Heroes, it could be Heroes year. You know, they could start making a bigger appearance with the release of Blazeman. Stratos isn't released still, you know, we still got him banned. But, you know, Dark Law is a thing. Dark Law is always a thing, and something that every good player should bear in mind. He's fallible, you can get rid of him, but if he's there long enough, he can devastate your plays. And I think if you're going to take UKNat seriously, you should take him seriously too. In World Superstars, you've got Chronomaly Nebula Disc, which did wonders in the OCG. I know that Chronomaly Artifacts was the way that they played, and Moral Attack is obviously restricted to 1 for us. But Moral Attack isn't the be-all and end-all of the Artifact engine. You have Lancia, which is seeing a ton of sideboard play anyway, because it hurts Necros hard. You've got Beagle Tack, which can trigger your other guys. You've got Caduceus, which can draw you cards. And you've got Scythe, which can stop Stellar Knights. Or Seraphs, in fact. You can sort of stunt the Seraphs' growth. So there's a lot of artifacts that can still be worth running in either Shadows or Chronomalies. The Chronomaly is an OTK deck, which means that it can be easy to pick apart. But if you don't see it coming and you don't expect it, it will take you out straight away, and it doesn't take that much for them to set it up now. Any deck that performed that well in Japan in its heyday should be taken seriously. You've also got Heraldic Beasts. Now, you might think I'm joking, because Heraldic Beasts were never a big deal, ever. But the release of the new XYZ monster they had, and then some of the cards they got in World Superstars, actually makes them quite explosive. You know, you can play that deck and it actually do well. I'd like to test it, and it'll probably be one of the decks that we come up testing just to give it a shot while we're testing 4 nats. But yeah, I mean that's what, 10 decks I've just listed there at least. So that's pretty diverse. I mean, there's obviously a dominant force because that's what the popular decks popular players will flock to. But I don't think to count out some of these decks is intelligent. You know, just bear some of these other decks in mind. They could work, and they could take you by surprise if you're not prepared for them. But with UK Nats in general, half the reason I'm so excited for it is because I get to see a lot of people I haven't seen in a very long time. So hopefully, you know, the most important thing about Nats for me was never the tournament. Rather, it was always the bit that came after it. You know, like the camaraderie you get from all the players, and you know, meeting up with people. Maybe I'll meet up with a couple of other YouTubers and we can sort of work on something together. That'd be really cool. Take a bit of coverage. You know, I shall take my big camera with me, take some nice pictures of some of the players, because you know, I often find that a lot of photos of card players can be particularly flattering. So I'd like to try and change that. And yeah, and I shall be taking a big old trades folder with me, making sure that some of my paintings are in there so that I can try and get some more exposure on those. But yeah, that would be really awesome. So if you're going to UK Nats, hopefully I will see you all there. I'll see you guys later, and make sure you tune in next week. I'll try not to miss one next week. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll speak to you later. Bye now.